Well, before I get started, I just want to say what led me to this point, where I'm going to go today. A few weeks ago, we was doing a Christmas play, and Miss Monica was the first one here, and then I was the second. There was nobody out here. She was in the back. I come up here, and I was looking out through here. There's nobody here. It's a lot easier when there's nobody out here.
Amen.
And I started asking God, why me? You know, why was I chosen to come up here and speak His word? I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of this. He said, who is?
Amen.
Who is?
Yeah.
There's none righteous, no, not one.
Yeah.
Amen.
None. For all sin and come short
That's right.
of the glory of God.
Yeah.
All. So I still was like, why? Why me? What do I do? He says, study to show thyself approved.
Yeah. Amen.
So that's where I'm at today, 2 Timothy 2:15.
Amen.
Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And I've memorized that verse. I don't know why, but it always stuck out to me. And Brother Charlie, as he was memorizing it, I was memorizing it with him, even though he didn't know it. But I had memorized that verse because it's important.
Yeah.
It's important to study.
That's right.
Where I fail a lot of times, many times I fail to study. And a lot of times when I'm failing at something, that's what God gives me to speak on or preach on or whatever. That's what He gives me. So whatever I'm preaching on, you know I'm failing at it.
Amen.
So He always tries to keep me in the way. So 2 Timothy 2:15, I'm not even there. Why am I so nervous?
It's good, brother.
Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. The main thing here is to study, but why do we study? Why? What's it all for? Good question.
Yeah. Amen.
Good question. Okay, so 2 Timothy 4:5, it says, but watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the working of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. So we are supposed to endure afflictions. I know a lot of times, and when I was in school, anytime I had to study, it was an affliction to me.
Yeah.
You know, anytime I have to read, it's an affliction.
Amen.
You know, I get discouraged, and I don't like to read, and I don't like to study, but there are reasons why we need to study. And
Yeah.
I look out here today, and I see these pews are empty.
Yeah.
And there's people here, and that's good, you know, but they're empty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 full pews empty. All the way empty. So, 2 Timothy 4:2 says, preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine.
Amen.
And a lot of times when I have to study, it seems like long suffering.
Amen.
It does. The Bible is the only book that I read because I hate to read. I don't like it. And a lot of times, you know, I hear a lot of people say that it's hard to understand this King James Bible, all the these and the thous, but it's really not that hard.
Yeah.
It's
Amen.
really not that hard at all. Once you get in it and the Spirit is moving in you,
Yeah.
that's who leads you. That's what leads you to understanding.
That's right.
So,
Amen.
I said all that to say this. Let's go to Luke 14. It's not Luke 2. Luke 14.
Amen.
I'm going to read 16 through 24. If I can get here. This is the reason why we need to study. You know, how can we go out and tell people about the Lord if we don't know what we're talking about? You know, we have to know what we're talking about here to go in and bring them in. And as I see these pews empty, I know why God wanted me to go here.
Yeah. Come on.
So it starts in verse 16, and it says, a certain man made a great supper and bade many. and sent his servant at supper time to say to them that were bidden, Come, for all things are now ready. And they all with one consent began to make excuse. Don't we like to make excuses a lot?
Yeah,
You know, there's many days where I get up in the morning and on Sunday morning and think, Lord, I don't want to put this suit on.
Yeah, come on.
I'm hurting. I don't want to go to church. I don't want to do this. It's long suffering. It is. It can be an affliction. You know, I got to thinking, is church getting in our way of our daily life? Is church getting in the way? Well, good. If it is, well, good.
Yeah.
It needs to be in our way.
Right.
We need to stay in the way. It says, they began to make excuse. The first said unto him, I have bought a piece of ground, and I must needs go and see it. I pray thee have me excused. There's an excuse. And another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I go to prove them. I pray thee have me excused. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. That one didn't even, he just, I cannot come. And I'm not going to be there. So that servant came and showed his lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, Go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city, and bring in hither the poor, and the maimed, and the halt, and the blind. So it says, go out into the lanes of the city, into the streets and the lanes of the city. And the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. And you see, there is room.
Amen.
So then he says, and the Lord said unto the servant, Go out into the highways and hedges, and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. For I say unto you that none of those men which were bidden shall taste of my supper. We're to go out into the highways and the hedges and bid people to come in. And when that's not enough, we are to go again. Go to the places we haven't been. Go to the streets and the lanes, and when that's not enough, go to the highways and the hedges.
Yeah.
If you see a man hiding in the bushes, go tell him about Jesus. Go tell him to come in. And a lot of times we fail at that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do. And it's hard to tell people about Jesus. Why is that? Why is that? Because the devil's trying to stop us. Because there's something to this thing.
Yeah.
There's something to this. We're to go. We're to study, show ourselves approved unto God, not being ashamed. That's the thing. A lot of times we're ashamed to tell people about Jesus. It's hard to do. But we're to study and show ourselves approved and go out and tell them to come in. And verse 24 says, For I say unto you that none of these men which were bidden shall taste of my supper. What happens when we go tell them and they don't come? They won't get what they need. They won't get the word. They won't get Jesus. And they'll burn in hell.
That's right.
That's hard, cold, hard truth. If you don't come in and worship the Lord and get life right, you will burn. That's somewhere I don't want to be.
Amen.
I was on my way.
Yeah, amen.
And if I hadn't come back. But we're to study. A lot of times studying gets in our way. Like the church gets in the way. It tells up here, one of them said, I bought a piece of ground. Another one said, I bought yoke of oxen. And another one said, I'd married a wife. All excuses. All excuses. There's a lot of excuses. There's so many we can make. My big toe hurts. I can't walk up there today. You know, my finger hurts. I can't slide through my pages. You know, there's so many excuses we could do. I think of them every day.
Amen.
Every day. I'm too busy to look at my Bible right now. I need to go walk my dog. You know, there's many things we could make excuses, but if you're here every day, well, good thing, church is in your way.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Every time them doors are open. You know, I get to thinking a lot of times, my wheels spinning, a lot of times when I'm driving, and I'm driving a lot. I drive a bunch. And that's where I get most of my time to talk to God and to think about things. And I was driving, working on a sermon yesterday. I didn't even have my Bible with me. said, lay it in your heart. It's up here, it's in here. We have to have these scriptures in our hearts and in our minds constantly. So when we are out and don't have our Bibles with us, we can still study to show ourselves approved
Amen.
Yeah.
and bid them to come in.
Yeah.
Amen.
It's showing that we need to do more work.
That's right.
We need to do more work. Because when, you know, it seems foolish to think about him leaving the 99 to come get that one, until that one is you.
Yeah, come on.
I was that one. Man, we need to do more study.
Amen.
TJ, let me tell you something about your sermon, your devotional.
Yes, ma'am.
This morning, I had no